Welcome to the last day of 4-day jQuery and JavaScript code camp from JPassion.com. So we have busy schedule today, so we are going to cover the 5 topics starting from jQuery UI basics and widgets and theming, and then we are going to learn how to use Require.js for dependency management, and the last topic is cross-domain Ajax and JSON-P. Okay, so let's move on with UI basics. Okay, UI basics. So these are the set of topics we are going to cover. So what is NY? jQuery UI. So jQuery UI supports user interaction, animation, and advanced effects, and themable widgets. It's built on the top of jQuery core JavaScript library, and jQuery UI support. It has a set of built-in widgets, and you can also build your own widget using what is called Widget Factory, and it supports again interactions and effects and themes. So we're going to actually we're going to actually play with jQuery UI demos. Okay, so let me actually move on to the next presentation as well first, and then we'll get back to the exercise 0 and exercise 1. So jQuery UI has built-in widgets. So these are the set of built-in widgets: button, accordion, autocomplete, and date picker. And the dialog menu, I mean, these are basic widgets typical web application wants to use. Now, usage of jQuery UI Use-It is very simple. In fact, the same programming style of jQuery applies to the widget as well. So basically, you are going to use a selector to select an element or set of elements, and then you are going to attach the widget. So in this case, I'm going to find an element whose ID is my button, and then I'm going to attach the widget. So that widget is going to be displayed on that particular element. All right, so here we're going to do exercise 1. All right, so let's take a look at the hands-on lab. So exercise 0 is basically we are going to play around with the demos on jQuery website. So you go to jQuery UI demos here, and you can see it does have demos for interactions, widgets, effects, and utilities. So let's start with draggable, and as you can see, you could actually have various forms of draggable. So simplest one is like this, and auto scroll, and delay start. So this one you have to drag and wait for 100 milliseconds before dragging starts. And events. So basically, you can actually play around with this the various demos. And let's actually go to accordion. And here, this is the default functionality, and this is the collapse content, like this, and field space. And you can take a look at the source for each demo. Okay, so all you have to do is in fact copy this code into your HTML file and then open that file, and then you're going to see this exactly same functionality. And then effects. So color animation, toggle effect. Again, you can see the source code. Okay, so as you can see, it does have jQuery library, and then it does have UI. So this is the jQuery UI library, which is built on the top of jQuery library. Okay, and this is toggle. Okay. All right, so that's exercise 0. So I'm gonna actually give you guys about 10 or 15 minutes to play around with these demos. And exercise 1 is basically it's actually the copied version of it, and I want you to in fact make some changes to the code. So if you go to exercise 1, so here this is the UI buttons. So you can that's actually UI buttons. And you can just run it. Okay, very simple. So I want you to make some changes. For example, in this case, it wants to find these elements. So it finds the in this case input submit. Okay, so and then it also finds this guy, and it also finds a .demo, so the this guy. So basically it attached the button UI component to each of these element. Okay, and for this guy, when this is clicked, when the this is clicked, you're going to actually see some event handler to be invoked. Okay. So in this case, oh, it's just returned false, meaning it's not going to actually go to any link. Okay, so it's going to actually prevent the executing the link. All right. So I want you to add another element, and then actually try to add a button and things like that. And this is the date picker. Okay. So we're actually playing around with just the exercise 1 is the buttons, accordions, and date pickers, and progress bar, and the slider, and autocomplete, and tabs, and this one is also Ajax. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna give you guys enough time to play around with this and get the hang of it. Okay. So try with the exercise 0 for the demos first. Okay, with the various of things, and then exercise 1 is a built-in widgets. Okay. So I'm going to give you actually 21 minutes. Right now is 9 after the hour. I'm going to give you about 21 minutes. Hopefully that give you enough time to get the hang of how to use these widgets. Okay. Next one is interactions. You probably already play around with these interactions. Again, draggable, droppable, and the resizable, selectable, and sortable. So let's do exercise 2. Exercise 2 is draggable and droppable. So here, if you want to make any element to be draggable, all you have to do is just calling this draggable, associate this draggable widget to it. Okay, so very simple. And droppable is, again, you actually make it as droppable. Okay, so this guy is, so we have a 2 div element. One is draggable and the other one is droppable. Okay, so when droppable, so when this is a drop event, when drop actually happens, and then I want to just call this function event handler or callback function. Okay, so that's basically what it does. So let's try that. Draggable. So now I should be able to draggable and droppable. You can drag here, and then you see error message. I mean the callback function to be invoked. Okay. Now in HTML5 actually supports the built-in drag and drop. So this feature of jQuery probably not needed if you're using HTML5. So you might want to use in fact HTML5 native drag and drop support. Okay. In any case, I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to try this exercise 2. So here we can search for This one is gonna just get the object, this object, right? Um, and oh, so you probably actually not actually asking for the yeah. So we're gonna actually talk about that. Yeah. So Bill was asking. So let me just respond to by writing it back. We will cover this later on when we are building our own the widget. Okay. So she just said that UI, the PDF file that on the web is not consistent with what I'm showing. I'll check that one later, Shiza. Okay. So I'll make sure that is the case. I actually uploaded a file this morning, so it should be the same file, but I'm not sure why you're actually seeing different file, but I'll check it again. Question from VJ. What is the difference between plugin versus widgets? So that's something we are going to cover later on as well when we are dealing with widgets. Okay, it's a good question. Yeah, for now we're going to actually mostly focus on how to use built-in widgets. Okay, so we are mostly focused on usage aspect of the widgets. Any other questions? All right, so let's move on to the next. Okay, one more question from Ulrich. In the UI, why do you override like this drop function with a colon instead of a colon? Okay, so good question. So let's actually drop. Okay, so if you see this guy, this is a JavaScript object, right? JavaScript object is a set of properties and their values. Okay, so this is the name of the property. Okay, so what you are actually seeing, so the question is why it's not like why this instead of this. Okay, so this is actually the executable code. Okay, so so this is executable code, and this is actually something that you want to have in the function. Okay, in its so you're basically this is the executable statement. But what you're trying to do is we want to create a JavaScript object with a set of properties. Okay, so this is I'm asking I understand perfectly understand why you're asking that question, because I got the same confusion once in a while. So you got to actually make a distinction between JavaScript object versus a function. Okay, so function contains executable statements, but in JavaScript object is just the set of properties and their values. Okay, so in this case, we are just passing JavaScript object. Okay. All right, so let me see whether that answered your question, Ulrich. All right, sounds good. So let's move on. All right, so next one is UI effects. So here we have color animations and animated add or remove class and shake, drop, and easing. So it's these are typical set of UI effects of any JavaScript library. Okay. So exercise 3 is effects. So let's do exercise 3. So this one is we are gonna try with the effects 1 add class. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, so basically I'm not sure why the file is not there. You can just copy the files. So I'm gonna just copy these files. So just copy this file and create a new file. Okay, and save it. And I'm going to, the effect one HTML, and just run it. Okay, so run effect. Okay, all right. So my apologies that the file is not there somehow. Okay, but you can certainly take a look at the code from the lab documentation and try things out. Okay, so this is the add class. So if you take a look at the code, so these are the new class. So here, basically, we select an element and then we just add class when this button is clicked. Okay, and the duration is, so this is the new class that you want to use, and this is the duration of that effect. So in 1 second, we are going to see the old class is being changed to new class, and callback is whatever the callback is whatever functions that you want to call after the this is finished. Okay, so in this case, we are basically removing the new class. Okay, in 1.5 seconds. Okay, yeah, and this one is color animation. So toggle effect, and the color is being changed. So here we are basically calling animate, and then this is the option of the animate. Okay, so background color is going to be changed to yellow. The actual color of the items is going to be changed to black, and the width is going to be changed to 500, and this is the duration. And the same thing with this. Okay, and this is again various effects. Okay, so select effect options. Yeah, so it looks like there is a bunch of the options, highlight, clip, drop, and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 7 minutes to try this exercise. Right, so the UI basic zip file now has been uploaded to the website, and that should have the nano HTTP file. Okay, so let's move on. Oops. Okay, so let's move on. The next topic is tools. So there are two tools that you can actually leverage with jQuery UI. One is download builder. So it allows you to choose the components you like to download and get a custom version of the library for your project. Okay. So right now we've been actually using the generic version of this guy, right? Okay. However, in many cases, you don't actually need all these widgets, right? Sorry. So if you actually go to jQuery UI.download, you can pick you can actually have a version, okay, 1.10.3 or 19.2, and so you have a UI core, and you have interactions, and you have widgets and effects, and you might want to actually have a smaller size of the JS file for performance reasons. And so if you're not actually using all this widgets, you can actually pick and choose. Okay, so and then you can actually select the theme. So there are in fact a bunch of built-in themes. Okay, and then so basically you can actually customize the components as well as the theme for your library, JavaScript library. Okay, so that's a download folder. And we are going to actually talk about the themes later on. So theme loader is another tool that you can use to select a theme, and you can in fact customize the theme for your application. Okay, so again, we're going to talk about theme as a separate topic. Customizing jQuery UI. So using options, the widgets are one of the criteria for a good behaving, well-behaving widget is to provide the options so that users can actually specify the different values for the options. Okay, so using options is one way of customizing jQuery UI. And for visual customization, again, you could actually apply the different themes. Okay, and you could actually use again jQuery theme roller for customizing the themes. Okay, so again, we'll cover this one later on. All right, so that is the end of the presentation. So let me just